First quarter revenue mobilization hit 3 billion Ghana cedis, more than the pre-pandemic levels, supporting the economic rebound claims. And Ghana's gross international reserves are expected to rise by 11% of this year. And a former National Petroleum Authority boss kicks against calls for abolishing the price deregulation. Continue to support claims of a strong rebound in the economy. The data further shows that the economy may now have recovered.
The governor also said that because he had seen the various constituents of our composite index of economic activity. The interesting thing that we saw was VAT receipts, which had gone up significantly high, same time last year. The gap in there is about 3 billion more revenues had come in. And of course, to sum it up, our composite index of economic activity had jumped up by some 13.9% against, I think, 3.9% that we saw same time.
Now, Ghana's gross international reserves is expected to rise by a little over 11%. This is the research arm of the ratings agency Fitch in its April 2021 Africa Monitor Report. Here is Charles Nixon, your boss report.
The increase in this is expected to preserve the stability of the cedi at around 5 cedis 80 pesos to the dollar in the first few months of this year. The Bank of Ghana put the cost of imports of goods and services. Fitch Solutions said although dollar demand from importers will rise during the first half of the year, this will keep prices of many imported goods unchanged unless taxes go up. The cedi strengthened by 1.1% against the dollar by last year. Meanwhile, Fitch Solutions says exports are likely to pick up relatively swiftly on the back of rebounding growth in major markets, notably China, which is one of Ghana's.
In your boss report, the local currency is still struggling to firmly stabilize against the dollar. The hand is going for 6 cedis, 95 pesos. The Bank of Ghana is cautioning commercial banks collaborating with insurance companies to distribute strategies. This should help mitigate against any form of financial crime perpetuated under bank assurance. He spoke at the launch of the bank assurance. To bring you that sound, let's move to other stories. And a former chief executive of the National Petroleum Authority, John Atefua, is kicking against it to ensure the determination of prices by market forces. The concern has also been heightened by recent development, which shows that it needs to be ensured that they are strictly enforced.
This policy, it took us from the beginning of the economic recovery program. There was an attempt by the Ministry of Trade to set up a fair trade commission, which was to ensure that some of these things did not happen, would have been dealt with.
Do you think that we need a fair trade commission and now?
I think we can look at that. But again, we have the NPA there, and maybe they can put for granted.
Mr. Tefa, we are trying to push a free market, and again, doesn't any we're also trying to push as well?
No, but if you're trying to have a free economy, you didn't.
Chief Executive of the National Petroleum Authority, John Atefua. Now, tax increases as well as the introduction of new ones may have little. He disclosed this to journalists when he actually announced the inflation rate for March this year. We have more in the following report.
Month, despite a slight increase in the annual basis. Meanwhile, Professor Inim has been responding to the contributions of the newly introduced taxes in the 2021 budget on the rate of inflation. According to him, any
of tax would not be operating in a vacuum. The implications of tax would have to compete with other government interventions. So how it's going to impact on general prices of goods and services will be the taxes that are being imposed. So yes, one would expect it, but it would be difficult to say the extent and the dimension.
Had a higher rate of inflation.
We see housing, electricity, water and gas inching to a third as a contributor to overall year-on-year inflation. Indeed, the contribution of housing.
The Greater Accra region continued to record the highest rate of inflation of 17%.
And that is a sabotage report put together therefore, and for those who do not do well on the international market, is due to poor finishing and packaging. It's for this reason why businesses, especially in the craft industry, are indicative of Design and Technology Institute Constance Waneka said upholding industry standards will result in significant growth of the craft industry.
So the beneficiaries of the PQ and then 1,000 SMEs. But we're looking at the multiplier effect of once precision quality standards are embraced, which means that master craftsmen should be able to now.
And that's the chief executive of Design and $50 a barrel. Gold went up by more than $4 to sell at $1,740. And that's all for the Joy Business Report this morning.